Good evening. Welcome to Hangout in the Crib. I am the BP professor, and I am joined by Hefe
Hello, everybody.
and Holsch.
Howdy.
And tonight we're going to talk about the new FM and new FM prizes, and a special 6-month non-Halloween edition talking about pumpkins.
Yeah.
So,
Halloween twice a year.
down here in the ivory basement, it's me and my Yangling.
Oh, very nice. So you're probably getting it shipped from
Kroger, down the street.
well, the Pennsylvania brewery as opposed to the Tampa brewery.
Probably.
Yeah, the original Pottsville one. So
Okay.
this is 2 weeks in a row with Yingling, isn't it?
Huh?
This is 2 weeks in a row with Yingling, right?
Yeah, about a case.
Okay.
It'll be a while.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, I got the slides started, and we can get going.
Okay. Very good.
Espionage ended. If you haven't built a Punisher tank, shame on you. I think I published an article over the weekend, and I got some exciting feedback on it.
Ruffled a few feathers.
Ruffled a few feathers. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just in case anybody missed it, I said in direct terms, if you couldn't do this raid, you suck at this game. Actually, I think I said you're not good at this game.
Yeah, you're not very good at this game. Yeah. I think you were nicer about it.
Yeah, and the reason is, in a nutshell, right? Either you haven't been building a fleet to do the most important thing you should be doing in the game, and they've made it so easy to get the ships that you need to get there, or you can't drive at all.
Or you were very stubborn and didn't listen to anybody. Because there's another group that were very stubborn, and I'm like, I'm going to keep on using my vendettas with a Punisher tank.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I'm just, there was a stubborn group out there, but everybody was like, it was pounded over your head. Build the Citadel, and some people didn't do it. And they probably had a more difficult time with this raid.
But I would imagine, we were telling, people who couldn't build Citadels, well, build Novas, right? Build something. And I would think that even with Novas or just any kind of mortar chucker, you'd do all right in this raid if you had, a tank, right?
Yeah. But was it, over the last 2 months, was it any easier to build a Nova than it was a Citadel?
Well, probably not.
Because I don't know that the build times for the base hull is that different. And you were given, you could win it at tier 2, and I think you got you got a bunch of build tokens that went with it.
Yeah, I think we got 12 days of build tokens.
Yeah, I'm confused what happened with the Punisher and what happened with the Citadel as far as the number of build tokens. So I'm not completely certain.
It was enough for me to put high velocity rounds and viscosity regulator on mine, but yeah. So anyway, if you're in that category where you have not yet built a tank, this picture here is a damn fine Punisher tank build. I use only 3 Phalanx 4s and do just fine.
Okay.
And I mean, those 4s are heavy and do take over a day to build each. So I think you can get by with 3, maybe even 2.
Yeah, and the bigger point I was trying to bring up with it was it is so much easier to drive with these targets with the solid fuel booster and a Harrier rocket, something with 76 range at the front of it, because you can just click on the target and not have to worry about the down button at all. I know Host spent a whole time trying to go 89 to 89 with the icebreaker, but this is just, I did a lot of S button pushing to allow them just to auto select the targets that they wanted to shoot, and it made it much less. It was a very low stress, and it's sometimes boring though, because
Yeah.
But yeah, it was low stress.
I mean, every raid's a grind after, the first few hours, right?
Well, there was so many prizes and so many points. If you
Yeah.
wanted to get, I didn't even bother with all of the flagships. Personally, I just got the gridiron. But then I want to get some maybe and then I got the new Alpha Behemoth and everything that went with it, and then got some plate armor or the charged armors, and I got all the tokens, and that that added up to 150 million plus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah, it's not like the good old days where you got 30 million, you're good to go.
Yeah. See, I got all the alpha stuff, and then I got all the I got the gridiron, and I got the Empyrean MX, even though I haven't built any Empyreans. And then I got the build tokens, and then I got the Tide Seeker and the Citadel tokens because I think I want to do a few more tweaks. But yeah, so I probably ended up with around 150 million too. How about you, Holsch?
Yeah, I ended with like 130 million. I mean, I would have gotten more, but I was Easter always, so I was busy most of the weekend. So,
yeah,
but I mean,
Holsch stretches up as Easter Bunny, and I'm sorry, go ahead, Holsch.
Yeah,
He was standing next to Melania at the Easter egg roll.
Yeah. He was. He was finding the eggs for her.
Plane travel took a while, Yeah, I was using icebreakers the whole time, so it was very careful driving. So, and once I died, I kind of any lag spike I've had would kind of screw my time over. So I was playing constantly.
And Holst, you were one of those people that we were sort of alluding to earlier that decided not to build a Citadel. What is your thoughts on the icebreaker? And it seemed difficult to drive from if you were going to try to complete an entire target with it. I know that you're big into your precision driving, but what were your thoughts, walking in with it as far as the preferred haul for this raid, and and how you feel after the raid?
Well, I guess it kind of ended up better for me, because like in the preview server, like you could do the whole A set for probably an hour and a half damage, but if you were to try that with just regular driving, then you wouldn't get that in this one. But also, they did reduce the range from the preview of the short range weapons, which allowed you to actually outrange it with the icebreaker, which if they wouldn't have done that, then that would have been horrible. But I mean, that helped a little, but it was still so close of a range. But I mean, I actually ran my Harlock Cannoneer with my icebreaker sometimes just to easily take out the shorter range targets.
Well,
that helped.
Yeah, I heard about a few people that would do that. They'd take the icebreakers and I guess take out the missiles, the executioner type missiles, and then come back with cannoneers and take out the short range turrets.
Yeah. Yeah, that made it a little bit easier, but I mean, hit the mines often because it is different driving speed.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about the raid?
Larry, did you wait? You only had one icebreaker, right?
I had two.
Okay.
And I bashed them through some B sets, and they got shot up doing that. But what's kind of too bad is it was kind of fun. I mean, they're fun to drive. It's fun to just take a blitz fleet and blow shit up. And it's kind of too bad that you can't do that with these ships and not get totally creamed.
Yeah, I use mine in a different way, I think, than sounds like either one of you. I used them. I hit the 81s the first day and a half. Just to, I got them done in 9 seconds with my Punishers and Citadels. So, but the larger point was, I use them to prep out the long range stuff. And on the 85s, it was about a minute damage. or less, and on the 83s, it was less than 2 minutes where I would go in and use my icebreakers to take out the arc missiles and the executioner looking ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go back in with my Punisher and Citadel and take out all the short range stuff. So, they all ended up being, instant repair. But I found a use for them because it was much easier to take out the long range stuff with the icebreakers than plodding along with the Punisher and the Citadel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll try it next time.
If they're the same, that's the other question I had. What do you think they're going to do? It seems like something's gonna have to change.
So the theory that I put out in that blog post I was talking about earlier is that this raid style is not about protecting your tank, really, as long as you're moderately competent driving. It's about protecting your backline ships. So again, my theory, I don't have any evidence to back this up, but my theory is that they're going to make it tougher for your backline ships. Maybe increase the splash of the arc missiles, maybe add some priority targeting to the executioner missiles, something that's going to make it a little tougher to keep those backline ships safe.
And about that, the new 89, that's the 112, actually has some of its long-range executioners. The last three in that, or last four in that little line, at least one of those at the end has the priority targeting. So they changed that.
Well, maybe there is some evidence to support my theory. So is it like there was that one VXP target a while back? I think it was VXP or maybe a campaign target where they had the executioners with priority targeting. But if you kept your remote targeting ships at kind of their max yellow circle, you'd stay out of their range. Do you think that's the case with these 112s? Or don't you know? You don't have executioners Hulsh, so I mean Citadel's Hulsh, so.
Well, because I was running my cannoneer with my icebreakers and it got shot. They aimed for the cannoneer instead of the icebreakers, which was behind my icebreakers.
Okay. Well, something to watch out for.
Okay.
And maybe that is, maybe I'm right.
Yeah, that might be it.
More of that next month. Okay. Now are we ready to move on?
I think we're ready. I just wanted to throw everything out there on espionage, and then we can move on. It's in our rearview window.
Yep. It's espionage. Yeah. Okay, bug fixes. And that is like the opposite of a bug?
No. What is that, Larry?
Is that a Veyron or the Chiron?
Yeah, Veyron. But what brand of car is that?
Bugatti. Oh,
go ahead.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So fixed an issue where the ghost crawler stun wasn't firing correctly when it emerged from deep dive. I might have seen this once in a while, but didn't really care on anything using the ghost stun. Fixed an issue where the health bar for the end game campaign targets was not displaying any health. I guess we'll see end game coming back.
Yeah, that's the assumption. This is the second week in a row they put that in there.
Good.
Okay.
And then removed the erroneously displayed affected classes stack displayed in the stat block of a turret within range.
Yeah, we did that. We put a little picture of that out there, I think about 3 weeks ago on Wednesday. Once you went all the way down to that stat block that said X percentage penetrative reload or explosive damage, and then it said Conqueror class only at the bottom of it.
Okay.
So that's what they're talking about.
All right, let's keep rolling.
Just a heads up as far as if you have any friends that have left the game for some extended period of time, this is what they're getting when they come back.
Or they can also get monos.
Oh, can they? Okay.
Yeah, because I had someone in my sector get 4 monos and a zealous tank.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a pretty nice welcome back gift. I mean, that's current tech.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's especially if they're all built out. It's beyond current tech.
Yeah. Okay. VXP weekend for you pirates that are feeling horny. All right. So Friday to Monday, kind of the usual thing. You've got the unidentified raiders. Oh, but it's going to be a Reaver Armada style, so that's new. And then the Raiders 101, similar to the S target from
That
May.
we will see in May.
Oh, that we will see in May. Ooh.
And either that or, which is also, I assume, the target that we saw last VXP weekend, which looked very similar but larger than the targets that we were seeing in this past raid, which were ones that people liked because you were getting a lot of VXP from the
Ships.
the ships that you were able to trigger by hitting shipyards.
Yeah. Hey, you notice one other thing about these research garrisons? If you read the flavor text, they talked about that they were research garrisons for a draconian megaship. Anyone notice that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, they were.
Okay.
So we may see draconian megaships coming. It was on the flavor text that we all clicked past because you just want to hit the freaking target.
But isn't the ones in the 91s, aren't those draconian megaships?
Legion.
The big black ones are Legion?
The Hyperion is a Legion megaship.
No. The ones we see, what we see in the 91 targets.
What?
The 91 targets that are on the map. The ones you hit to get to titanium.
Yeah, those are the Legion ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Bro, the black we had draconian looking. No, even the original ones were Legion. All right.
Okay. Whatever. These two ladies are following the storyline more than I am. But one of the things one of the things I would suggest, it's a little late in the game for some people. A lot of people like to build just purely blank hulls that don't do any damage. This target, if it's similar to last VXP's target, you can get significant VXP by dealing damage, not just receiving it. So I don't know how it impacts your build plans, but it'd be nice if whatever weapon on what you're trying to level up, if it does have some sort of offensive capability. The secondary thing is a lot of people have Conqueror tokens, because I think potentially the best strategy would be use some of those Conqueror tokens to put something together that you can use as a spotter if you're dealing with monoliths or Empyreans that you still need to level up. Don't just put one weapon on it because you want your Empyrean or monolith to do all the damage. And especially if it's tier 6, you're getting a great repair modifier. Use it as a tank because you're getting 125,000 armor for 30 minutes of repair.
Oh, I see. Use it to block for the ships that you want to level up.
Yeah, use it as a spotter. Use it to spot for if you have remote targeting ships. This isn't going to work for the icebreaker, but if you have a free way to build especially a tier 6, and you just want to put one weapon on it or one weapon and some antis, because I know some of them are 6-day tokens, I would go ahead and do that. And you could probably do your VXP weekend for cheap, yeah.
Yep. It's good.
And also remember, just hit, when you're hitting these targets, just target one set of ships at a time. Don't target and then kill them. Kill a shipyard, see if you launch anything. If you activate any ships. If you don't, hit another one. But probably by the second one you will. Just kill those ships that launch at that point in time. then retreat and re-enter.
Yeah.
Because there's a maximum amount of EXP that you can earn per encounter, and that encounter is reset by retreating and re-entering the same target.
Good tip.
Yep. Pro tip. I think we're done with the XP weekend.
All right. I might, Jenna. Okay, so let's talk about Forsaken Mission. They released, what did we get? 3 new tier 5 and 2 new tier 4 prizes, I think.
Yeah, 3 tier 5 and 2 tier 4. Just enough to prevent us to getting any build tokens before VXP weekend.
Yeah, those dirty dealers. I wanted my gridiron to be done before VXP weekend without spending any money.
Yes, that was.
I needed a 2-day for that. I might be buying a couple tokens from Daily Deals, but I'd never get that.
Did you have all your tokens left over from the FM?
No, I spent those.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent those to tweak stuff for the raid.
Yeah, because I'll end up, just because I saved 6 days, I have the gridiron and 4 monoliths that all have speed system 5 and a weapon on them. With no coins, just using tokens from the raid and the ones I saved from the FM.
Yeah.
And the monolith tokens from the campaign.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I did is I had 2 finished monoliths, so I was still a little behind, I think. Okay. Anyway, so first new prize up is the kinetic buffer. So this causes with range 90, and it affects. So we were talking a little bit before the show about this, and what it does is it slows down projectile speed, and minus 70% is a really nice slowdown in projectile speed. But what you see is that it doesn't affect the projectiles, it affects ships. Okay? So the ships have to come in within 90 range of this field to have this 70% projectile speed slowdown. So I'm not sure how useful this is going to be in practice.
Yeah, the only thing I could think is if it works the way that it's written, it's potentially to slow down a blitz fleet slightly. Maybe their projectiles, but I mean, with how quick they are, I don't see it. And and then especially the blitz fleets, as far as with scatter guns or whatnot. The other thing seems you can only get from moderators on YouTube chat or in the forum, buried somewhere within a post, is that the negative 30 projectile speed on the outpost is on your entire base. It doesn't have the range of 90. It's map wide at that point.
Yeah, which would be nice, but a minus 30. I don't know that you're going to notice it.
You might notice it on mortars.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't put it on anything until you see somebody else do something good with it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about this guy?
Nope. Well, there is a motorcycle called the Toronto KB1, but it's from 1978, so I couldn't find any hot chicks with it.
They didn't have hot chicks in 1978?
Well, they weren't taking pictures of this motorcycle.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
All right. Second prize is a raised scattergun. This one's also tier 5 of the FM. Prize pack 5.
Mm-hmm.
What are they
yes.
called? Is it prize pack now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
so.
I love changing names for things over and over again. All right, so raised scattergun is a reworked version of the Ruin scattergun. and it ups the damage against ships. I think the thing to notice about this is it's Conqueror and Defender only. So that's kind of important. You can't put these on Tide Seekers or anything like that. So I think you've got a... Oh, I thought you had a DPS.
Yep.
Right.
No, it's on the next one because, yeah, the DPS, it's on the next slide.
All right, so let's just head over there.
Okay.
This is the Tier 5 Prize Pack 5 special. And then, so Hefe made this handy dandy chart comparing the Rays with the Calamity Scattergun, which is a anti-ship scattergun.
Yeah, I didn't compare it to the Ruin because the Ruin is building damage intensive as opposed to the Rays, which is just ship damage.
Yeah.
So
then the Blight Acid. Let's talk about that for a minute. It's again a corrosive special, so it increases your multi-shot, which can really increase your damage, and then it ups your scattergun reload.
yeah, this is my favorite out of these FM.
Yeah, I agree. This is a nice special because if you're using Calamity scatterguns with a multi-shot of 3, then if you add a multi-shot of 2, you've upped your damage by 66% right there.
Yeah, on the Calamity, you only do 40% on the Rays.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's a really nice special for the Calamity. And as somebody who's going to refit.
And the other big thing is the weapon weight on all the other specials that add 2 multi-shot is 19 versus 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good to know.
Pro tip.
So anyway, you can kind of see the results here, right? The Calamity is really deadly against ships, right? A lot of DPS, really good DPS per ton. The thing that I guess maybe really hurts the Rays, I think, is that it really doesn't have very good spread. It doesn't have very good splash. So it puts out a good amount of damage, but I don't think it's going to have that much damage against what you're actually firing at. You know, Calamity, you're expecting all those pellets to hit pretty close to the target, and the Rays you're just not. And so then if you add the multi-shot and reload, it closes the gap a bit to the Calamity, but not enough that I'd say you'd want to ditch your Calamities. So fundamentally, I'm not sure when you'd want to use the Rays.
Well, there is one situation, which is if you want to get a higher enough damage to overcome the deflection values. Because it can, if you have it on like a Pride and have it with the corrosive, the narrow firing aperture, and if you have that with that, you'll get 5,600 per shot
Pellet.
per salvo or multi-shot fired. So that is
Okay.
enough to overcome the deflection for most corrosive ships.
So that's better than the Ruin then.
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't know what
only
the Ruin
thing that I really see it useful is to overcome your weaker corrosive deflection holes.
Okay. Anything else on these guys?
It's only something you would put on a Valiant. I mean, people have talked about using this as a prep haul. I mean, I guess we could go back. It's not going to make it to the walls, right?
Yeah, but if you mix it with the other scattergun, whoever it is, the
Yeah.
Ruin.
Yeah, but then are you going to be able to prep and not kill buildings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a weird place. I think it's only for the Valiant. That's the only potential use I could see for it. Yep. No, we've only gone a half an hour. Nines is already requesting a 3-hour show. But we're on slide 7, half an hour. We're in good pace.
He can do that on his own.
Oh,
Talk to himself.
yes. Oh, well, he brings up a good point. You're a mega guy, right?
I have a Mega.
Okay. Does this somehow play in that world?
Would you want to put this on a Mega? Let me go back. Wrong direction.
Whoops.
The thing that I always worry about on a Mega is that stuff's going to pick you off from out of range.
Mm-hmm.
I really only like using the missiles and launchers with that 94, 98 range. I don't know that I'd trust this with an 85 range.
Okay.
I'm not experienced enough with Megas. There's a lot of players that play a lot more Mega than me, and maybe they find scatterguns useful on their Megas. I've not tried it because I'm worried about the short range.
Well, not on your Mega itself, but the whole Mega. Yeah, it does sounds like you don't deal with the Megas. Sounds you deal with the Megas more than I do, which I don't deal with them at all. But like when other ships enter prides, whatnot, that sort of thing.
Well, if
are they better than the Calamity in some way, or
if you're attacking Megas,
yeah,
you just want the max DPS you can, because there's no defense percentage, there's no deflections. So, you'd take the DPS with the Calamity over the Rays.
Yeah, and all I did here was I removed the concussive because Calamity is a combination of corrosive and concussive damage. So in this slide, I removed the concussive damage, so it's purely corrosive. And at the end of the day,
then it maybe just barely matches.
Yeah, and I put the specials on that were favoring the Rays as opposed to the Calamity, because you could put strike warheads on the Calamity instead of the narrowed firing aperture, because the splash accuracy of the Calamity is over 100% to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want narrowed firing aperture on a Calamity, right? Its spread is already so tight.
Yeah, and so if you added either advanced concussive or strike warheads, yeah, this isn't even a...
Yeah. Hey, the other thing I was thinking about against Megas is that with the greater spread of the Rays, maybe what happens is you start that splash accuracy is not a big deal, because you're always going to hit some module, right? The hitbox of a module is bigger, and then if you miss one module, you might hit the one next to it. So that might be something. The Rays might be good against Megas. I don't know.
So hit on the daughter, maybe you pick up the mom. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, ready. Just check it.
Hit on the girl next door and nail the one 2 doors down.
Yeah. This could be. Yeah. It's all possibilities.
Okay.
All
right.
Mortified.
He's mortified?
No, well, yeah. He was making noises.
Okay. Anything to say, Holsch? You got experience hitting on the girl next door? Nailing the 1 2 doors down?
Or the mom.
Or the mom.
Yeah. No. He's at a better age than we are for that.
I know.
Because he's 20 and the mom may be 38, as opposed to, we're hitting on the 40-year-old woman and then the mom's 65. So Holsch is in a much better situation for us than either, So, Holsch, look into that.
I mean, Hefe, if nothing's going to stop you from hitting on the 20-year-old. It's just...
Yeah.
Just all right.
Okay. Yeah. Or it happens the opposite way around. I hit on the 45-year-old mom, 25-year-old daughter. So it could happen that way, but we should probably move on.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah.
Okay. Astro rockets. So these are a generalist weapon. So I guess if you want, to get in on that hot icebreaker action, and you're missing out on icebreakers because you didn't have 120 million to throw around last time or 40 million to throw around this time. You could put Astros on a Zelos and
Go die.
playing like a blitz fleet and get them blown up.
Yeah,
Right?
Cuttlefish says he likes these rockets. I mean, we do a comparison in the next, and the reason the Great Danes are in that picture is because of Astro from the Jetsons is a Great Dane. So just in case people were wondering, I know there's quite a bit of talk in chat about George's ex-girlfriend. So I don't know what. Not related. Not related.
Yeah, okay. Hey, so the thing to think about, though, if you do end up using these, the reload time is 0.6. So, you put a reload special on it, like the one we're about to see on the next page. And then that's going to be reduced even further. And so you're going to hit that max reload, or I should say minimum reload time of 0.2 before you hit full rank. So what that means is that you don't need to rank up the ship that's carrying these completely, or B, if you're comparing this against, like, let's say a D100S that has a longer reload time, this comparison actually isn't a good comparison, because if you skull the ship with the D100, you're going to get a better reload. They're going to have the same reload time, cycle time.
Yeah.
You know
Earlier.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So the D100 is going to get a bigger bonus when you get fully ranked than the Astros would.
Yeah, and I was tempted not to even, because of the configuration of the targets that we're seeing right now, I don't know that the splash spread is quite as relevant.
Yeah, again, you're always going to hit something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's why, I was reticent at first not to put it in at all. But it's still, from both points, it still feels like the D100S is better until you look at the +5 defensive on the Astro.
Yeah.
And that's the one that sort of pushes me over to thinking, if, I'm going to have a Zelos brush rocket tank, that might be what swings it.
All right. I don't know why you'd build such a thing, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know either. Especially because, as we'll see, it doesn't have, even with this special, it doesn't have the range.
Yeah. 77 and a half. That's, you're certainly not going to pick stuff off like Holsch was during the raid.
No. But it does add that splash damage reduction.
Right.
And that's a bigger question. I'm sort of wondering, is all splash damage only splash? You follow me? Like, if a weapon does splash damage, is there ever a direct hit? Or is it all splash?
I've always thought it's all splash.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really in question way back when the siege cannon was around, and the siege cannon did splash, but it also had accuracy. But I don't think a siege cannon ever has a direct hit either.
Yeah. So you would look at the splash damage reduction as I don't even know how this mechanic works. Do you have...
I don't think Kixeye knows how the splash damage mechanic works either.
Yeah, but the reduction, does it work? Like, do we have diminishing returns? Do we have... How does it work? Because we have...
I want to say that it stacks, because whenever you have the splash armor, it stacks. But,
it adds.
Yeah. Yeah,
Except I don't think it should add like that, because if you have something with 11 armor slots, you start getting some non-intuitive results.
the best thing is have someone with a gluttony go and put 10 of them on and see if it gets any splash damage.
Yeah, I wish they would explain that mechanic to us because
I,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think they understand. I don't think so. Because
Okay.
right, if you put 10 Warplate 3s, is it Warplate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a gluttony, you end up with a 99% splash damage reduction. It adds, it doesn't multiply. I just think something's wrong there. It's
Yeah, because if it works the way we think it does, yeah, it should work like a resistance. With diminishing returns. So
Right.
you can't hit 115% or whatever.
right. And just because, well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll just crash the game if they do that. Put 11, give a Conqueror with 11 armor slots, see what happens when you put 11 war plates on and break the game. But I mean, the way I would think this works is like the damage is explosive and splash, let's say, for mortar.
Okay.
Right? So let's take 100 points of damage, right? So you get 35% splash damage reduction, so that cuts the 100 points down to 65, and then maybe you've got 50% explosive resistance, so it would cut that 65 in half again to 32 and a half. That's the, I'll just say, Battle Pirates intuitive way it ought to work, but how it actually works is anybody's guess.
Yep.
So, anything else to say here?
Nope.
Again, both these last two, generalist only. So
Yeah, tier 4. Thanks for giving me these things instead of 2-day tokens. Kicks eye.
And I guess none of us have really taken the generalist route to. Would this be something you put on your Empyreans to deal with the damage from the halos? The arc missiles.
Oh, just for the 35%?
Yeah, it's 10% weapon weight.
That might be useful.
I mean, putting on a armor special would help you more, right? Like a
Well, how many specials are on the Empyrean?
yeah. But okay, so yes, maybe. I think the answer
Maybe,
is
yeah.
at the spot, right? But don't put this instead of an armor special is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
armor specials help you more.
Well, no. Well, think about it. If it's diminishing returns for the armor, well, yeah, I don't know. Well, we can get into that later day. But yeah, I'm just thinking as far as if you combine it with armor and other things that are adding resistance, I don't know that that's, intuitively would think it.
No, because so in the example I gave, right, it would take off like this would take, let's say you do the explosive first, right? So it would take off 35% of the damage that would get through, right? So kind of either way, right? If you had something that would cut your explosive damage by 40% or your splash by 35, it kind of doesn't matter what your incoming explosive resistance is. It's going to take off 40% of what's left or 35% of what's left. So you really want to, as you add more things, you just want to keep adding the thing with the highest percentage.
Okay. All right. I think it's the Larry, you might need to go get another beer.
Oh gosh.
Well, because we have the Foundry update next, I think.
Oh, good
Lord. Oh,
Foundry update. I hope you guys like reading, because somebody made a lot of word charts. Hefe.
Well, I'm just passing on the word from up high.
So
Doom Rooster brought the tablets down, and I can't.
So yeah, I mean, this update was laid out, and maybe it's just because I was like reading on my phone at work or something. I just couldn't. Oh my god! I just couldn't like work through all this. It was just like, I think the short story is a lot of the stuff that you had to work for in the Foundry, now you just get. You don't have to get fragments anymore. It's just research time. I think that's pretty much the short story. Right? No more fragments, just time.
Yep.
And a lot of people got a lot of the upgraded blueprints. Is that the short answer? I mean, we can go through all this, but isn't that the short answer?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to go through all of it. It's just sort of, I mean, yeah, people can read it. I mean, some of it's a little bit complicated, like why some people have to spend 50 days getting their citadels to R5, while other people got a berserker.
So I got a berserker because I never had a berserker, and
Yeah. You got both you and me got screwed because I did. I always I was boycotting the Reaver. I was boycotting the Reavers because of the repair modifier, and I never saw use for them. If you had spent in a raid like 1.2 million, a couple raids in that hull raid, you would have gone immediately. Your Citadel would have gone from R4 to R5 instead of getting that Berserker.
Oh,
yeah. Does it make you sad now?
Well, I've only got 48 days left till I get the Citadel R5.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe 48 and a half.
Less
Okay.
than me.
Okay. So, yeah, this first slide, no more fragments. Foundry tech, all of it's via timer. You do have to work your way up the tree, though. And then
And some of them are very long timers.
Yep. Like 50 days for Citadel R5.
Yes.
More. All via timer. Foundry research timers, multiple at once. You can use research tokens on that timer, or you can spend gold. Thanks, Kixeye.
Yeah, I think and you get a discount from what I heard. So it's like, for mine, I think it was like 2,400 gold.
Yeah.
Totally. Discount.
That's what I want to spend.
Yeah.
$240.
Yeah.
Fucking Citadel R5. Yeah. All right. Blah blah blah.
They got rid of the prereqs, so you don't have to have any of the stuff that you needed before to advance a haul.
Okay, so since I didn't have the Berserker blueprint, that's why I don't get the Citadel. Fine.
Exactly.
Current Foundry tech is instantly done. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. So you got stuff. I don't even want to work through this or think through this.
Well, yeah, there's 2 bullets. If you own this, you got that. They're just rubbing it in your face at this point. So we can move on to the next slide.
Bite me. Plus de Foundry. Ridiculous. All right, so what's the rationale? They didn't want to take away older tech that were working on it, but it's old tech. So they decided to give it to everybody because they suck.
Yes.
And maybe low-level players can use that early Foundry stuff to get a good start. I mean, does this mean you never have to research anything?
Well, yeah, a lot of these people were getting, the lower level Foundry stuff just for showing up.
Right. So, I mean, does this mean players are never going to research like hammerheads?
I mean, you can, but kind of be a waste of time.
Well, and it increases your level if you want to stay low level longer.
Yeah.
Won't do the researches.
Because like the researches because I went on my alt and looked at the research times, and the Hellwrath was like a 21-day or 21-hour research, and the Apollo was like a 17-hour research.
So this is really interesting, right? This is going to get low-level players, if they want to spend just a little bit of time, this can get them into the thick of things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's probably a really good thing. And I guess that's what this last sentence says. This should help low-level players get a good start in the early game of Battle Pirates and jumpstart players at a more competitive tech level. So I guess that's really good.
It's good. It's as far as the lower level players. I'm just, anything that's given away, you got to assume is also factored into the analytics as far as what we're considered to have. Like right now, me and you got the Berserker, while all these other people have much better Citadels than we do.
Yeah, fuck them.
Okay. All righty.
I said that quietly. Maybe they won't hear that on the YouTube.
I think they did.
Oh, you think they heard me? All right.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So if you have the R5 Citadel, you know what I think of you. All right. No, not really. I like you all. All right. So that looks Greek to me. Mega ship. So now also they removed the fragment requirements for mega ships and gantries. You don't have to hit a bunch of megas to collect fragments to start your gantry and then more fragments to start your mega. All you have to do is hit R&D level 20, 21, and you can start your gantry and then your mega.
Yeah, finally got to start mine.
Okay. I got some tokens laying around for the Hyperion and the gantry.
You can use them. You can use them.
For what?
No, for the Hyperion, you can use. Not you, but you already had one.
Yeah, I know.
But
I can't even get rid of them. They just sit there in the inventory, laughing at me.
Yeah.
Well, but if Holz had some, he can use them.
Yeah,
Right.
I had 2 weeks worth already used.
If I could give them to Holsch, I would.
I'll take them.
Or anyone, I give them to you. Yeah, you out there in the audience that's listening, because I like you.
Yes.
Even if you have an R5 Citadel. Okay. Hull retrofits. Still it's the same,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Nothing changed with that one.
Restrictions. All right. What upgrades once you hit level 30 and get an intelligence lab level 1? So I guess it doesn't get you there right away. You do have to build that first level intelligence lab, which I think takes some other labs and whatnot. But still means level 30 you can start building some pretty sweet hulls. New accounts will not be granted. Oh, wait a minute. New accounts will not be granted these hulls or upgrades. Instead, the Foundry tech will begin at tier 4.
But won't it already be incorporated into the base? Yeah, sometimes they need to explain stuff. But would they already have them, or
No. Look, so if I started an alt now, right?
Yeah.
Once I hit level 30, I'm not getting these tier 1 through tier 3. I can start researching tier 4 Foundry hulls, but I'm not going to have like a DNX all of a sudden.
okay?
So interesting. Although, I mean, you said it yourself, right? Building a Nova wasn't that much quicker than building a Citadel, for example.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm assuming. I've never built a Nova, but yeah, it's. It might be a day difference, or 18 hours.
And so maybe that's the point, right? Don't tempt players to build shitty hulls. Get them able to build good stuff quickly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, essentially, it puts all the tier 4 and tier 5 Foundry hulls on the research tree.
Yes. 4 and 5 research. Yeah.
Right? They're on.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's the assumption.
So that's all right. All right. And then the screw up. If you tried to play sometime within a few hours of the update yesterday, you couldn't. And apparently, the source of the problem was the pumpkins.
Yep. Yeah, and I filed a ticket associated with it, and the first one said that we've temporarily removed the pumpkins. Well, no, the R&D icons. So I guess what happened was they were somehow was screwing everything up because they were misappropriately assigned to people doing this Foundry research. And it wasn't supposed to be that way. And from what I can tell from customer support is when they bring it back, it's only going to be assigned to people that are still doing the R&D. Because previously, anybody that clicked research on, as an example, sending your Citadel to R5 would get a pumpkin. But I don't know how that took the whole map and drove it to zero, to nothing.
I was seeing pumpkins from just manufacturing, like building components for Megaship.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's one more click on this one.
There is.
Yep.
Pumpkin.
So, I think this is the last of the slides.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think I can. I can invite some people to if anybody'd like to join us. The other thing I want to do in a minute, because I see that Nines and George are on. I wanted to do not live math, but a live demo of the monolith. The fact that there's a big, at least there was when me and George tested it a couple days ago, there's a big graphical error associated with it. In addition to the field of effect of 59 only occurring behind the ship, the aura that's shown is off significantly. And one second, I need to make sure Larry's not presenting anymore.
Taking out focus.
Okay. There we go. So basically, what appears is the fact that you need to go about 10 or 15 units back from your gridiron monolith for it to impact the other monoliths. But the fact is you can actually be even with them or on top of them and have it affect your other monoliths. And the same thing happens at the back end of the circle. If you go towards the back end of the circle, which is the aura, if you get near the end of it, you lose your all the benefits. So it's just a graphical displacement on the whole thing. I don't know. Do people want to see this, or did I explain it well enough? And I need to post.
I'm gonna have to drop out. I can't hang out for the after show today. So.
You don't want to watch this magic?
No, I believe you. Stuff. Again, this is another great example of just like things not working the way they're supposed to, out of the box. This isn't a rare case of, oh, you do this thing with your gridiron and then the thing shows up in the wrong place. Nope, it's in the wrong place all the time, and they just didn't notice.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you. That's my kick-size shitty quality comment of the day.
Yep. And you got to leave now that Nines has shown up?
Yes, I have to leave now that Nines has shown up. Good night. Enjoy the after show. Have a great evening. Sayonara. Dankeschön. I don't know how to say bye in Greek.
Are you going to do the Chinese symbols to leave now?
Hashtag leaving. All right. Bye, guys.
Later, Larry.
See you, Larry.
Okay.
Well, if anybody would like to join the show, I've the after show or the show live, I have posted the link, and feel free. And I will, let me see, I will endeavor to start up Battle Pirates and try to explain what I'm talking about. Hey, Daniel. Daniel? Okay.
Invader Zim.
Hello. Hey,
Hey.
I was actually on the site.
Okay. 1 second. I'm loading
So-
DP if you guys want to talk about something else, and I'll get into the graphical error in about 2 or 3 minutes associated with the gridirons monolith and the monolith.
So what's everyone think of the
nines?
one thing of the 112s and how to kill Hulsh's Hyperion when it comes out?
Same old, same old. Or well, actually, I forgot to mention that in the new 112s, it seems that they've upped the damage a little bit for at least the short range missile turrets.
I don't know. I only hit a couple of those 112s, and it's not. I never noticed anything because it's my perfect driving. It's just on par. I only get like about maybe a minute of damage.
Well, I put a Punisher in there and let it sit so someone could watch, and just was testing out the executioners. My Punisher shot down 11 of 12 shots every single time. So it looks like they're still as easy to shoot down.
Yeah.
Hefe, can you post your base, by the way?
I think he left.
Knowing him, he went to go get another beer.
Okay. Yeah, I've known about that whole issue with the Wake tactical module, that it's slightly out of place because I use the Wake tactical with my Citadel fleet. So I've noticed it for a long time that it used to be like right next to it, but now it's like way off to the back. It didn't bother me because it still worked the same way, but I guess it's bothering people now with the monolith because it transferred over.
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably mess with people just because it's something they have to use versus the Wake. The Wake's optional.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it'll probably mess with people just because it's something they have to use versus the Wake. The Wake's optional.
Hi, Boots.
Hey, Boots, you might want to turn off mute YouTube.
Mute your tubes. All right. Is your nines? Where is your ship near me or near
I have no idea where your base is.
Okay. I'm keeping it that way. I'm keeping it that way.
Is your ship near me or near I have no idea where your base is.
Hey, Boots, you're welcome to come back and when you're mute your YouTubes because we can hear everything 5 seconds later.
Posted coordinates for you.
Okay. I will work my way down there. And
so I have to ask, since you have the gridiron right now, are you actually impressed with it, or?
it doesn't have enough. I mean, I have a speed system 5 and 1 mortar on it. So
okay.
I haven't, I've just been building it with tokens. And I'm going to attack your arbiter is what I'm supposed to hit, right? Not your gunboat?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
only a 3 minutes repair.
No, I'm not going to. Yeah, just stop it after I engage, and then I'm going to put it on screen share and try to explain what I'm talking about to everybody. Alrighty.
All right, I'm just used to Empyrean build times.
Okay, Z. Alrighty. I am going to go to screen share and All right. I assume everybody can see what's going on here at this point in YouTube land. The number one is my gridiron. Number two is a regular monolith, and you see how it has. Okay, 1 second. I'll take it back into that range. They're a little tricky, even though I think this one's got. I think they all have engines on them, but this aura kicks in when you see this up arrow, and right now, the number two ship is being impacted, activated, or whatever word you want to use, by the gridiron monolith's orange aura behind it. And as you see, I can. Oh, now people are watching. Okay. As you see, I don't have to be in this aura for it to work. This is the point where I get slightly ahead that it stops to work. So basically, if I sit on top of it, it works. Now I am going to go through this aura. And you see it's kicked in, it's working, it's working, it's working.
Should have stopped working right about now, give or take.
No, towards the end. Basically the delta between here and here, if everybody can see that. That's how much is taken off the back of this. So
it's on the ass, and you got to cut the difference.
Yeah, off of it. So hopefully they fix this, because this makes it much trickier to drive if you have to rely on looking for that up arrow as opposed to using this, big orange pumpkin thing to
not more pumpkins.
Yeah, more pumpkins to see what's going on, and back in it. So basically, if you use this inner circle, that appears to be a good guy, but not the bright outer circle, which I think is intended. So,
well, from what I'm seeing, whenever you go up and just the nose of your ship crosses the back of the gridiron, it instantly turns in. Technically, throw these as far back as you could, just so the tip of it is sticking in the end of the circle.
Yeah. And let's see, if I aim at the same point to stack them, we still got an up arrow. So I think that's probably. I'm going to stop this, but this is all I wanted to show.
Well, you got a mortar on it, right?
Well, they don't need to see me ruthlessly kill you.
It's 3 minutes repair, so what?
Okay. Well, maybe you miss them. There we go. Yeah, they only have one mortar each. So that's what's going on with that. Let's see how much VXP I get for killing nines. I should get extra for killing nines.
Yeah. I did send the ticket back in when they screwed up the wake tactical, and they put it slightly to the right of the ship, but it still was in the same location. But they managed to fix it, put it back in back of it, but just a little bit further behind.
Yeah.
So they fixed it, but they didn't fix it the right way. And I did send them a reply ticket that thank you. At least you fixed that part, But it's still not in the exact spot where it used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, George asked you to talk about the kinetic thing. Did you happen to see what he said?
We had. I think he missed the first part of the show. Yeah, we had already talked about that.
Yeah,
he confirmed it through. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. And I got 1 VXP for killing nines, just in case anybody's counting at home. Cuttlefish, is that what you were looking for when I was describing it? And does anybody have anything else they want to discuss, or should we go to the? I can bring the slides back up if there's any points that we missed, or we can go to the after show at this point.
One piece of advice for everyone in the from Sector 1 to Sector 399, if you park your mega ships, make sure they have some weapons around the back. Everyone 400 plus, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I'll
yes.
be there soon to show you.
Yes, nines is in the 400s. So, well, if anybody doesn't have anything new to add, I could end the broadcast and go to the after show, or if there's anybody in the chat land that wants anything else to would like to talk about anything else, we're here to do it. But otherwise, if nobody from either group has much to add that you think everybody should, talk about, we will we'll end the show. So, nothing. Anybody?
Nope.
Daniel?
Good.
Well, Daniel, talk about your talk about your. I think people would find just the. Don't go into all the details, but I think people would find your raid build interesting.
Mine? The Citadel.
Well, with the Citadel mixed with the Monarch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked very well, and it's fast. It's faster than Monolith.
Yeah. Well, what Daniel did was he was using a Zelos as his tank / spotter, and then he was using a Hurricane with weight controller to speed up his Citadels to keep them, in line with his tank, which is, it's a fun thing to do, and it basically approximated a lot of what that the Apollo factor that's been added to the Monolith to make them faster, and more efficient. But I don't know that I would replicate it at this point if you own the Monolith, because it's close to a 7-day build just for that tactical module, correct, Daniel?
Yeah, I built it a long time ago, so I don't.
Yeah, you don't recall.
I don't recall.
So, all right. Well, it was a thanks for joining us, everybody. And we will see you on Friday.
All right. Good night.